Okay, so I'm not sure if everybody knows that the YouTube channel is just one part of Alabama Liberal. If you go to alabamaliberal.com, there's literally thousands of articles. I mean, I've written, I think it's something like 3,000 articles at this point. And of course, there's podcast episodes, and then these videos and some other stuff, interviews that I've done verbally that are not part of the podcast or that I've never posted here. My most popular stuff that I ever do usually is to rank, review, and grade the seasons of a TV show. So Better Call Saul is now over, and I have ranked, reviewed, and graded all 6 of the seasons from worst to best and graded them and done a little review. Talked about the series finale and the final season. The series finale I felt was slightly disappointing in the last 10 minutes. Up until then was pretty good, but I didn't totally believe that the great con man Saul Goodman, the last con he would play would be on himself, that he would get himself 86 years in jail. The DA started out in a better place than he wound up at. And so I didn't think that to almost get revenge on himself for the cons he's played over the years on Howard and Chuck and different characters that he would throw his life away like that. I mean, he basically threw his life away. And the whole episode is kind of leading up to that with scenes where Mike and Chuck and Walter, they're all kind of the domineering older brother figure. He struggles to win their approval. He can't quite do it. They just look at him like he's this sleazy con man with no ethics and kind of look down on him for not having their ethics and their rules. And he'd rebelled against that the entire series, and it was almost like he was accepting that they were right about him and to just throw his life away. But I don't really believe that would have happened, or that he would have had such a revelation, or that he would want to live the rest of his life in jail, and also a worse jail than where he could have gone in North Carolina. But I love the final season as a whole. I love Nacho and his tragic fate, Howard Hamlin and his tragic fate, the episodes that were centered just around Gene, his new persona in Omaha. I love the decision to also shoot the present day scenes of Gene in black and white and the past in color, which is almost admitting these characters don't really have a future, passing time, and it's all just dread. His life, everyday life, is just waiting to be discovered, because as we saw in some of the flash forwards earlier in the series, his best case scenario is that he's not noticed by anyone, that he just goes about his mundane existence and is basically invisible and forgettable. And for a man who was Saul Goodman, the limelight and the spotlight, that's a very hard reality to accept, as we can see. So he's living in dread and fear, and we see that bleached out. I love the shot where Carol Burnett's found these old videos of Saul that are in color, and it's bright and colorful, and he's Saul Goodman, the larger-than-life attorney, and that's playing out over Gene's gray, depressed, kind of dull glasses. And ultimately, he can't do what he needs to do, which is tie up Carol Burnett's character, even though he probably should, and then he could have escaped. He could have had 12 hours to get to the vacuum cleaner repairman and started a new life with the millions he'd stolen in Omaha. But this is a series that was always a little frustrating, because it's about moments that Saul doesn't take. Fundamentally, in his character, he's not Walter White, who just really goes for it no matter what the consequences are. Saul's always kind of hesitant and has that deep down. And so it was about a con man who doesn't seem to have a lot of actual confidence, a confidence man who lacks the confidence to even believe he should get away with his crimes. And that's a rich paradox. It was almost like a novel that I might have read and loved 10 years ago before book publishing imploded. And you can find more insights like this one I'm talking about. I'm going to post a link in the description of this video to the article I'm talking about, where I rank, grade, and review all the seasons, and I hope you check it out.